this video isn't to shame anybody, just to educate everybody. This bike came in, customer installed his own cam, and he had an issue. The bike wouldn't rev up. We took it apart, and we went back to where he was in the motor. The bike didn't do it before until after he installed the cams, and what we had found was the oil pump was actually broken, and there was a ton of metal in it. And we kind of stopped and called the customer back and, hey, we have a broken oil pump, there's an issue or something going on. And upon tearing it down even farther, we had found in the case where one of the inner cam bearings goes, the case was a little galled up and scored up. So we called the customer back, and we kind of got the full story then. When he had replaced all this stuff because a cam bearing failed. The only problem with that is on the back side of that inner cam bearing goes down into the crankshaft, which getting needles out of there is virtually impossible without splitting the cases. So we talked to the customer, split the cases, tore the motor down, sent the crankshaft out, had it reworked. And I just want to show everybody why it is important. If there's any kind of metal or debris, even if you have on these early 88s, even if you have any of the tensioner problems, the pieces chunking off, all that material has to go somewhere. And I'm going to show you over here on the bench where a lot of that material ends up is in the center of this crank pin. You can see down in there, that's just what's left in there. When we sent this out, there could have been more material that came out of that, but this is actually the crank pin that's out of that bike. And that's why we can't stress it enough to any kind of debris, metal, any kind of contaminants. The problem is they go right into the pinion, into the crankshaft. That's where all the oil gets fed, and it ends up lodging in between that crank pin. And eventually that stuff's going to start working its way out, which it may work its way out into the rods, because as you can see on these pins, oil gets fed in through the pinion there, and oil pressure fills that. There's caps on the end of these, and the holes right here that supply oil to all these roller bearings, which are for your rods. All that material can eventually end up inside of these rollers, causing these things to lock up, causing all kinds of problems, scoring, just getting contaminants into the oil, end up on the bottom of the cylinders, get caught between the pistons, score up that goes through the system, lifter bores, you name it. And once you start getting metal through something, it's no good. So we got this one back up and running. We're able to save the motor. We had to get the cases sent out. Had to machine the inner cam bearing journal to get a nice tight fit press where the inner cam bearing goes. Crank reworked, new cylinders, pistons, new oil pump obviously, new cam plate, and we got this one back up and running, and this bike should last a very long time with all these upgrades. And even if you have an old tired bike, just some of the tolerances aren't the greatest on them. So it's going through the entire motor, doing it the right way, you'll have a motor that'll last you a long time with minimal or zero issues. And we've got a lot of guys out there with a lot of our kits that we put together. We got some guys that stunt, and they really abuse them. If you ever been to any of our bike nights, just about all of them are motors that we've done, and we've done them once, and they still take that kind of abuse. So just to educate everybody on why it's important to go through a whole motor if you end up in this scenario. So thanks for watching.